Hello there, Cryptowisers. It's your good friend Milton here with a very special video for you. Today, I had the absolute pleasure of interviewing Mr. David Ticzon. Now, David Ticzon is the lead SuiFi, so DeFi on Sui and Infra deals. And as he calls himself on X, the chief degen for Mysten Labs, which is the company behind Sui Network. Now, if you guys have been watching my videos for the last couple of months, you know that I added Sui to my portfolio back in November. Like I do with any major project that I want to get into and add to my portfolio, I bought a little chunk and then I started DCAing into it. Now, of course, in retrospect, because I started buying this back in November, it was still at around 60 cents. I really should have gone all in, but you just never know because Sui has been on fire since. I did name it as one of my top 12 coins for 2024. I really couldn't be more bullish on this chain. For me, my three major networks that I'm focused in on now are Solana and Polkadot, which I have been for a few years, and now Sui is on that list for me. So right now, it's trading at about $1.63, close to its all-time highs, but there's good reason for that. Total value locked in DeFi on Sui has just gone parabolic. It's up over $544 million now. All sorts of new projects coming. This is the perfect time that you really want to start paying attention for Sui because these are early days and a lot of the blue chip projects that are going to launch on Sui have not launched yet, but they are going to in the coming weeks and months. So this was a perfect time for me to talk to David and learn more about Sui. Hopefully you find this information extremely valuable. I know I did. Basically, I really tried to be you guys in this conversation and be as degen as I could. Now, David's focus is on DeFi, but I also talked to him about NFTs on Sui and gaming on Sui. There's just so much to get excited about here with Sui and the ecosystem, the way that it's growing so fast. All right, well, I want to get to my interview with David as soon as possible, but before I do, of course, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and yes, like I've been saying, and yes, of course, like my previous 3 videos, if today's video gets 100 likes, I will be giving away a We Are the Walrus NFT. So make sure if you're watching this that you smash that like button. 100 likes, I'm going to be giving away one of these beauties. And if you didn't watch my video from a couple of days ago, not my last video, although you should watch that one too, because that is a small cap beauty gem that I've added to my degen portfolio. But the one before that, how to get 100x altcoin airdrop, make sure you watch that video because it's the easiest airdrop you can qualify for. And that one is for the getgrass.io. All you have to do is sign up, add the GetGrass Chrome extension, leave it on in the background while you're surfing the internet, and you're gaining points towards this airdrop. But you do need an invite code to be able to join that. And I've left my invite code in the description of this video as well as my previous videos. And if I get to 50 referrals from that link, I will also be giving away another one of these beautiful We Are the Walrus NFTs. But today is all about Sui. So let's get to my conversation with Mr. David Ticzon and learn as much as we can about all sorts of cool DeFi dApps that are building on Sui right now and in the weeks to come. David Ticzon, welcome to Cryptowise. Thanks a lot for joining me. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First thing I wanted to talk to you about, could you walk us through, because I think it's a really interesting history here between the 2 projects that have launched recently that's both started at Facebook or Meta. Can you walk us through the history of that?
Yeah, so I guess like the 2 teams that people usually talk about are like Sui and Aptos. And yes, I guess like they both come from Facebook and now Meta, but the products that they delivered are quite different. And so the Mysten Labs team, which is building Sui, took the approach that DM and Libra, what they were going to release at Facebook was great for payments, but for all these other use cases in Web3 that Libra and DM weren't originally designed for. And so we decided, like, well, you can actually build something that's even better than what the DM design was. And so they started from the ground up and built Sui. And so the Aptos team went to market first, but went with the original like DM design. And so yeah, the code bases are totally different between the two different projects, though they share employees from Facebook, and that worked on the DM project. But
so essentially, just to kind of get kind of clarity on that. So what happened was there was a big team at Facebook working on creating a blockchain, right? They were going to do their blockchain, and it was called DM. And then but then they put a stop to that. They were like, so Facebook said, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. And so that basically a bunch of people that were working on that project split into two different projects on their own independently. One was Sui, which is what we're talking about. The other one is called Aptos. And they kind of both launched around the same time. They both are using the language Move, which was the language that was created at Meta originally. For you, let me know why was Sui the one out of those two, or even out of all other blockchains, why you were so excited to dedicate your time and energy on Sui?
Yeah, so I saw like some friends developing on Move about like 2 years ago, and so they were playing around with Move like one weekend, and they said like, wow, this is like a 10x improvement over like anything else like right now. Like, and these are like people that have been developing on Solidity and for like Solana for like the last like few years, and they know the Web3 space quite well. And so they were really impressed by Move, the language, and how easy it was to develop on. So productivity was up, and also user safety too. So there's about like 30 plus security vulnerabilities on the EVM, the SVM, etc. That's like totally impossible on Move. And so I started like looking at like the papers on like who developed and created Move, and like who were the main top researchers at Facebook that built this. And so when you looked through like the papers, like the names that were coming up were like Sam Blackshear, the creator of Move, like Evan Chang, like the head of research at Novi, which was like the wallet team at Facebook building like DM. And yeah, so I just saw those names kept on popping up, and we're looking like what happened to these top researchers that were coming up with all these interesting ideas. And yeah, found these people had just left like Facebook to go work on this company called like Mysten Labs, and we're going to build a new generation blockchain called Sui. And so yeah, just saw like a lot of the talent that had developed Move and created Move from the beginning, and were like the brains behind like DM, and even future designs that had taken DM to the next level were working at Mysten. And so I got really excited that blockchains need new ideas to allow it to reach the masses. Like doing everything as the status quo isn't the right approach. You need people coming up with interesting ideas to improve both the developer experience and the user experience. And so found like the Mysten Labs team to have the right team for this, and it was basically like the Avengers of like blockchains was like the Mysten Labs team. It was like the experts and everything you needed to create a world-class blockchain, from the dev experience and the user experience. And so I guess that's why I got so excited about like what Sui could be.
Just talk to us a little bit about what your role is at Mysten Labs.
Yeah, so I've been leading up like DeFi and like infra deals here at Mysten. And so I've been doing this since like the end of July of like last year. So I was asked by the team to join since they needed someone to work on DeFi and infra deals for them. And so we've been like heavily focused on like DeFi, and I think that during the early days the Mysten team wasn't paying as close of attention to like DeFi, and it was like my strong belief that for like Sui to eventually have like a really great gaming ecosystem, a DePIN ecosystem, etc., you need to start with DeFi. DeFi is like the core block to all the other cool things that happen in the Web3 space. And so we had to spend a lot of time to make sure our DeFi ecosystem was healthy and growing. And we've seen a lot of success so far. So we've seen our TVL grow. We were like the fastest chain to ever hit $500 million in TVL from its mainnet launch. And we're also seeing our volume numbers like be consistently in the top 10, and sometimes usually in like the top 5 of all chains. For non-EVM chains now, it's just, Solana is the number 1 chain for TVL and volume, and Sui now taking the number 2 spot. And this is a chain that still is less than a year old. So we've seen like Sui have like a tremendous amount of growth.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that's a great kind of transition into talking about the DeFi on Sui, because I want to start there. As you say, the total value locked, I have the DeFi Llama up here on the screen, and it's at 558.5 million right now. If we look at the chart, that's really just from October. It's just gone kind of parabolic, really. And I know that you've posted on Twitter a lot about a ton of liquidity coming over from ETH over on Wormhole, people using Wormhole. It's some crazy, you might know the exact number, but it's like 60% almost or something of that liquidity has gone to Sui instead of other chains. And so what do you think it is? Like what is propelling this amount of liquidity in Sui? Why is it since October that people are catching on?
Yeah, so I think like people are starting to realize what Sui is, and especially in the last few months, that like Sui is something special. So we've seen a lot of like developers, like very strong developers from other ecosystems, have started to announce that they are now building on Sui. So one of the best examples is like Rooter from SuiLend, which is now like SuiLend's one of the top like DeFi projects on Solana. They're going to be building SuiLend on Sui. And so Rooter's been like quite active about like telling the virtues of Sui, of how it's the best developer experience. It's 10 times better than Solana. It's better than Ethereum for like developer experience. And we've also seen people like the BlueFin team that were previously on Arbitrum doing perps had organically just looked at every single chain and decided that for the most like highly performant and user-friendly chain, it would have to be Sui that they build on. And so they were maintaining both the Arbitrum side and the Sui side, and just found the Sui volumes to be much higher. I think they did like 4 billion in monthly volume recently. And so they decided just to deprecate the Arbitrum version and just focused solely on Sui. And we've also seen a lot of like DeFi builders start to utilize a thing that's very unique to Sui called the PTBs, like programmable transaction blocks. And this allows for a really great composability on multiple different DeFi primitives to be brought together and make more complex DeFi strategies. And so we've seen like, both developers and users starting to use Sui and just love the experience. The users usually are able to find onboarding on Sui to be the easiest in Web3 with like things like ZK login. You can create like a Sui account instantly with your Gmail account natively built into Sui. And you get things like sponsored transactions too, that you don't even have to touch and buy Sui. You can just have your transactions paid for. And so we've seen a lot of people just trying Sui and like falling in love. And I guess like we've seen this high amount of momentum right now on the DeFi side for Sui.
We should start at the beginning for people. So Sui is its own blockchain. It is written in the Move language. So it's not an Ethereum compatible chain like some of the layer 2s that people might be used to, or something say like Avalanche or some of these ones. So it is its own one. So you do need to get, I guess the first step for people would be to get their own Sui wallet. I just want to let our audience know that for me, I've been using the Sui wallet, so Sui ET wallet. This is an article that has the top 5 wallets here, and they have the Sui wallet, the Ethos wallet, the Surf wallet, the Nightly wallet, and then the one I just was talking about, the Sweet wallet, which is the one that I use. Any of these wallets, do you recommend any over the others in terms of if I'm new to Sui, what you would recommend?
Yeah, I think all those like choices are really good. And so I won't take a favorite over all our different wallets. But I use all of them, and I'm always like testing to see the different like wallet providers. I think that the cool things like for Sui is experience like ZK login. I think people usually find that to be like a really magical experience, and like those wallets like support ZK login. And so I think like those would be like appropriate wallets to start with.
So walk me through what that is, because I kind of did it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, ZK login. So you can just like log into your Gmail account, and it'll have a wallet made for you. And
so you don't have to do the phrases or the security phrases?
You don't need the security phrase and all of that. I guess that adds friction, and people lose those phrases. And so you could just log into your Sui wallet from any wallet, any device, and always have your assets with you.
And
so
then,
it's a
so
very
how does that work? And obviously, because the phrases are your kind of security backup. If you lose the wallet or something happens, then you have those phrases to recreate it. With that sort of login, are there any security measures that people should be worried about?
So I guess we have a lot of cryptography magic and a lot of cryptography work that went into this, and so like Costas and like the cryptography team can go into all of them of the security guarantees that went into this, and there was a lot, and yeah, so it just gives a very the best like onboarding experience into Web3
Yeah, I
that
mean,
you
it definitely makes it super easy for people who
and
aren't into crypto to do it. Because I'm a crypto guy, I like having my little seed phrases all over the place. But like, what do you? I just curious from your standpoint, what do you do? Do you use the ZK login or do you do the old school
So
seed
right now,
phrases?
I've been using ZK Login. I still have wallets using the old school seed phrases too. But I think like yeah, ZK Login is yeah, it's just so easy.
The one thing
And
I will say I'm using, because I use the Sui wallet on my Mac, and one thing I love about it is I can log in with my kind of my fingerprint code instead of having to put my password in every time. And that's, that actually that's a great little feature that I've found in the wallet. It makes it really user friendly. All right, so that's the wallet. So once you choose what Sui wallet you want to use any of the ones that we mentioned. All of them are obviously recommended here. Then you would have to try to get yourself some Sui into that wallet. Obviously, if you're on a centralized exchange or whatever, you can buy Sui that way and then send it to the wallet. If people aren't using that sort of platform, is there a bridging platform that you recommend to get your Sui into your wallet from
yeah,
other
so right
networks?
now, yeah, I guess right now the main one is Wormhole. There's going to be other bridges that support Sui coming soon, but like right now, I guess like Wormhole would be the best example and
Yeah.
of
Okay.
bridging Sui.
Great. So yeah, let's go through some of the DeFi that's already out there, because you mentioned BlueFin, you mentioned SuiLend, which is going to be coming from the team that created SolLend. People might know them. But if we look at DeFi Llama, let's talk about some of the DeFi platforms that are already out there. So number one right now on the list in terms of total value locked at 137 million is Scallop Lend. Can you tell us anything about Scallop Lend?
Yeah, so Scallop just completed like their fundraise, and yeah, so they've been the number one like lending platform right now on Sui, and they've seen yeah a tremendous amount of growth, and they've been like one of our early builders too. So I guess when you go for the list, a lot of these teams have been building on Sui since sometimes before we went to mainnet, and have just like came to Sui because they thought Sui was the strongest tech and have been like early believers. And so yeah, I think Scallop has been seeing a lot of like growth, and they recently completed like a fundraise that was like oversubscribed, and so yeah,
Do
they've
you know
had.
how much they raised?
So I guess it'll be announced like soon,
Oh,
and
okay.
we had a lot of like our DeFi teams have like raised recently, and yeah, Navi just announced like their fundraise, and they also just recently launched their token, and yeah, I guess a lot of our DeFi teams have raised in the last like month, and everything's been like oversubscribed, and we've seen a lot of like investors get really interested with the Sui tech, and so I guess it's a good problem for our DeFi builders right now, like choosing like who they want on the cap table, and
Right. And so, yeah, walk me through, because you have maybe some more behind the scenes knowledge of this stuff. One of the things that I'm always curious about is token value versus kind of the company value, because some of these companies will do a raise where they're basically pre-selling the token versus they're doing a raise and it's like a company raise. It has nothing to do with the token, but then because our audience are crypto degens, really, they're investing in the crypto tokens. In terms of the Sui DeFi, is most of the value going to tokens and tokenomics and making sure that people who invest in the token are going to get value out of it?
yes, I think the token is always where the value will accrue, especially for the long term. And so we'll see like deals that are like SAFT, so that's just the token. We'll see deals with safe with token warrant, but usually like the equity side, yeah, is not really where like the value ends up. It ends up in the tokens for the long term. And the cool thing about like Sui DeFi is like just starting off. It's still year one for us. And so pretty much like most of the projects you find on DeFi Llama are top DeFi protocols, and even DeFi protocols that are still need to launch their tokens. And so this is probably like one like the best times to get involved with Sui DeFi, since usually these early users are rewarded for being early supporters of these like protocols.
Yeah, we're
And
seeing that a lot on Solana right now with, it's kind of airdrop season. A lot of these DeFi platforms are doing these point systems where people are using the platforms, gaining points, and then getting an airdrop. There's a few big ones, obviously, that just launched their token. So do you imagine that sort of thing is going to be happening in the Sui DeFi in the coming months?
yeah, definitely. And I think we're going to be seeing that. And I think a lot of people that are moving value over to like Sui are fully expecting that to be the next like step for like DeFi.
I'll ask the question. I don't think you're going to answer it, but so if someone is new to Sui and they want to get into be able to get in on some of these projects, you would probably veer them towards the ones that haven't launched a token yet, then, to be able to capitalize on the newness.
So I guess that's the one strategy probably people will utilize. But I guess like a lot of our teams that will be launching tokens or have already launched have like really great experiences, and you should still be using them. And so
Out of the ones, because I know you're really excited about ones that are going to launch soon, like SuiLend that we talked about, BlueFin. I know you're really excited about those two. Out of the ones that are out there, do you want to give us maybe three that you think are doing a really good job that people should check out?
yeah, so I think people really should like pay attention to Aftermath. So I guess like Aftermath has been one of our early builders and have been involved with our ecosystem even before we went to mainnet. And so the Aftermath team has like multiple like different products, and so they're very strong technically. And so they'll be launching like on-chain perps too. And they're also doing some other like core DeFi infra stuff that hasn't been announced yet. And so I think like people should be paying attention to Aftermath. Aftermath has also built probably the best like product for doing aggregation of like trades. So like what Jupiter is for Solana, I guess Aftermath is what it is for Sui. And so yeah, I guess like yeah, people should be really paying attention to the Aftermath team right now.
Cool.
And what they're
Yeah, I'm just looking at their total value locked. It's over 65 million, and basically it's just started this new year, like in early 2024. So that's amazing. You can see that the total value locked in the last couple of weeks has gone parabolic. Do you think that there's an opportunity in terms of these projects? You're talking to these projects. We've seen in Solana again, but this is actually not really Solana specific, but we saw the Pyth network come out, which is kind of the Oracle project. They did an airdrop, but now people who are staking Pyth are becoming eligible for other airdrops. We saw Pixel, the game Pixels, came out with their token a couple of days ago, the Pixel token, and they're built on the Ronin blockchain. And the Pixel team actually airdropped a ton of the Pixel token to anyone who was staking X amount of Ronin. So if you staked an X amount of Ronin, then they airdrop some Pixel token to them. Do you see that as being a possibility that people who actually own the Sui token and are staking the Sui token might get rewarded with some airdrops from projects that are building on Sui? Has there been any conversations about that?
I guess, yeah, I guess I won't be able to really comment on that. I guess it'll be up to like our DeFi builders on how they launch their tokens and I guess future projects. And so, yeah, I guess for future plans on that, I guess like I won't be able to really give an answer on that.
All right. Well, it's my job to ask, though. I got to ask you these questions. This is what the degens want to know, But speaking of Sui staking, can you talk to us about, obviously liquid staking has become a huge thing, especially in Ethereum. Now we're seeing the restaking platforms. But in terms of liquid staking, any projects out there right now that are doing interesting things with liquid staking for Sui?
Yeah, so we held like a liquid staking like hackathon during like last summer, and like the team that won the grand prize for that was the Aftermath team. And so I think, yeah, I guess that goes to the point. Like Aftermath is doing a lot of like cool things in Sui, and yeah, I think they should be getting a lot of like recognition for that. That they have been doing a lot of like building, and they usually help a lot of the other teams in the ecosystem.
What about So Aftermath, that's good to know. And is there liquid staking available now? So if someone has Sui, could they get liquid staking through Aftermath right now?
Yeah, you can do that like right now.
Okay.
And
Because I know the other one, like when I first got Sui a few months ago, I don't think Aftermath was around, but a Hadel protocol. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but
yes, yeah, I'm familiar with them. So yeah, I guess there's multiple options for like liquid staking like presently. And so yeah, we announced like our liquid staking hackathon like winners back during like last summer. And so someone can go through that list and I
okay,
guess
great.
see who are the options and like were people that we recommended as like the top builders for this.
And yeah, speaking of staking, so I think I noticed that the Sui staking, the yield is, I think 3.5 ish, like in that range, 3.5%, which is lower than kind of most of the networks. Do you want to speak to that at all? I mean, obviously it's a good thing because it keeps inflation of the Sui token down.
Yeah, so I guess the person for like this question would be like Alonzo. So he's our chief economist.
Okay.
So he's the one that designed all of this, and so he would be able to give you, I guess, the full answer and of why that number specifically.
Okay, great. So that gives us a sense of DeFi and kind of a bunch of projects that are working on DeFi. I do want to talk about a few other things with you. Let's talk about NFTs on Sui. Right now, I'm aware of kind of three main NFT platforms. There's Blue Move, there's Tradeport, and Sui.hyperspace. Now, Hyperspace and Tradeport, I believe, are available on other networks. So Tradeport, I think, is on Near and Stacks. Hyperspace is, I think, on Aptos as well. Blue Move, I think, is also on a bunch of different chains. Yeah, they're just on Aptos and Sui. Are those the major NFT marketplaces right now? Am I missing any that you want to shout out?
Yeah, I think those are like the main like NFT marketplaces right now. So the ones that I use and I think most people use are the ones you listed.
And I notice on X, you've got an NFT as your avatar here, which is one of the DSL legacy avatars or NFTs, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think like the DSui Labs is like one like the top like NFT projects right now, and they also have the legacy NFTs. Those are the ones with the red background, and yeah, I guess those are like the most like prominent like NFT like projects right now on Sui. I think the other ones that people usually get are like Thuddies too, and Thuddies have been around in the ecosystem since like the very like beginning. And so yeah, I guess those are like NFTs people usually gravitate to when they're new to Sui and want to show that they're part of like, the Sui community.
Yeah. So do you want to talk? So yeah, Fuddies is one of the big ones. And I believe, are they connected to the FUD meme coin?
So I guess they know each other, but I guess they're totally, I guess, different projects. And but I guess if you had Fuddies, if you had DSui Labs, you were eligible for the FUD token airdrop that happened back in like December.
Oh, I see. I know that you're more on the DeFi side of things with Sui and Mysten Labs, but is there anything about NFTs on Sui that you want us to know about that's coming up? Where do you think Sui NFTs are right now, and where do you see it going in the coming months?
Yeah, so I guess like Sui NFTs are still in the early days, and I guess there will be a lot more like high quality projects launching. So I have like a few like animator friends that have like worked at like Disney, Nickelodeon, and like Cartoon Network that are going to be launching on like Sui, and so that'll be happening shortly. So there should be like more really strong like projects coming in the NFT space on Sui. And I think like what like Sui NFTs are, it's more than just like PFPs. And we have like eventually these NFTs are going to be used in our gaming ecosystem. And so a lot of the game studios get really excited by this object design that Sui has, that Sui doesn't use accounts, they use objects. And yeah, there's a lot of like powerful things you can do with that design. And we're seeing a lot of like sports loyalty stuff too. We'll use the NFTs on Sui.
Yeah, we saw there was a big announcement recently, wasn't there, about an esports team using Sui?
Yes, that just got announced. And yeah, we've also been like doing some stuff with like the Red Bull Oracle like team too. And so the Red Bull team is like the top F1 team, and we've started doing some NFT like work with them. and we did like release like a collection of like NFTs after their 2023 season. And so I think what NFTs are, we take like a very more creative approach to what they can be into the future. And I think people should be like aware of that for when looking at Sui. I guess we'll have the traditional like PFP offerings, but we're also heavily focusing on these other use cases focused around the things I described.
And so for people who are just getting to Sui now, and for myself, because I haven't really been paying attention to the NFTs on Sui very much, was there a Sui NFT boom in terms of prices? Like, where are we at in terms of prices right now for these NFTs? Are we on a down? Are they kind of down from their peaks? Are they at their peaks? Just kind of from an overall ecosystem, where's the NFT prices right now?
So I think the NFT prices are still on the lower end, even for like really like high quality like collections, like the top collections right now. So like a legacy for like from like Sui Labs, and I think it's still like low, like in the low thousands right now for one of those. And so I think it's still like the early days for like Sui NFTs. So if you want to own like the blue chip like NFT collections, like this is like a time. We did see like the prices for them like start to climb like in December, especially around like the Fuddies like token, of the FUD token, that people were realizing if they held Sui NFTs, they would be rewarded with the airdrop. And some people did that quite well with the airdrop. There were people that got airdropped like thousands of dollars for holding like Sui NFTs. And we saw the prices like rise with that for the floors.
And the next extension from NFTs, I guess, would be gaming. And I know there's a lot of exciting stuff coming in terms of gaming on Sui. I was looking at this playbeyond.sui.io. I think this is an official Sui kind of gaming site.
Yes.
And there's some really interesting stuff that seems like it's going to be launching. One of the ones that people are probably most excited about, I would imagine, is the Walking Dead game. There's a Walking Dead game coming out. I know that gaming is not necessarily your focus, but is there anything in gaming that you want us to know about in terms of where it's at right now, and how long do you think it's going to be before some of these major games are launched on Sui?
Yeah, so we have a lot of like AAA like game studios like building on Sui right now. So these are people and like studios that have like millions of daily active users for their traditional like Web2 games, and they'll be launching like on Sui. I guess just the timelines for like launching a game takes longer, and so we should be seeing some of these games like arriving in the second half of this year. And so I guess that's when people should be expecting more of these high quality games on Sui.
So I know one of the games I did notice is Star Garden Project Alune. I don't know if you know anything about this one, but I know it launched on Solana because I actually own a bunch of NFTs from their launch on Solana. Have they moved over to Sui? Do you know, or are they launching on multiple chains? Do you know anything about that one?
Yeah, I guess for the full details of how they're launching, I guess like our gaming team would be like the ones to talk to. I'm not fully up to date on like how they're like launching their collection.
No problem. I know it's unfair. I'm asking you every Sui question known to man here because you're my guy. I mean, on X, just to remind people, definitely make sure that you're following David on X. He's at David Ticzon. You were the first guy that I followed, in terms of from the Sui ecosystem. So in my mind, you know everything about Sui. But basically, from what you're saying is, I'm gonna have to do many more videos on Sui. I'm gonna have to talk to a lot of people at Sui because there's just so much to talk about. There's so much coming. I want to thank you actually, for your Twitter presence because you did get me on to Sui. It was I'd been researching about it. I wasn't into it really. And then I wanted to learn more about it. I started following you and it just gets more and more exciting the more you learn about it. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time today coming on and talking to us about what's going on with Sui, especially in the DeFi space. I do think that this is a really good time to be introducing our audience to Sui DeFi and a lot of the platforms that are launching. Are there any other ones, just before I let you go? We mentioned SuiLend is coming soon. BlueFin is coming soon. Any other DeFi platforms that haven't launched yet that we should watch out for in the coming week?
Well, I guess BlueFin is live right now on Sui, so people could start using it. And so the volume numbers, I think they just did like 4 billion in a month for volume.
I see it here. Yeah, I didn't see them here. Yeah,
people can check out BlueFin like right now. I guess they possibly maybe releasing something in the future, and I guess that's what people could be looking out for. And yeah, I think there's also like some cool things that the Korea team is doing right now. And so the Korea team has like started experimenting with PTBs. And so they have these things called like one-click strategies. And so you can start like composing all these like different DeFi primitives from other builders together. And so I think that's really interesting. I think like Sui DeFi is going to really differentiate off of these like PTBs of how easy it is for protocols to compose. There's like things like Solana instructions that exist for trying to do a similar thing, but it's just so hard to use. And so we're finding people have really, I guess people love that Sui is the fastest chain. It has the best developer experience.
I mean, speaking of that, I'm just on this because I'm just looking at BlueFin on DeFi Llama because I didn't realize they were still on, that they were on there yet. So the total value lopped 13.14 million, but they have this line here in DeFi Llama, basically decommission Arbitrum support. And then you see the TVL just going crazy. So basically, and I think you mentioned this earlier in the interview, that they were originally on Arbitrum, and then so did they basically say, forget Arbitrum, we're not even going to work on here anymore, we're going full Sui now?
Yeah, so they just decided that they want to go 100% fully Sui. And
wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, they just saw like the performance and what they were getting on Sui was better than what they had on Arbitrum, and decided to put all their efforts and focus on the Sui side.
All right, David. Well, before I let you go, I do want to talk about one other thing here, which is Sui Basecamp. So this is the first annual, I think, major conference here for Sui. This is happening in Paris, France, April 10th and 11th.
Yeah, so we'll be hosting our first like global event, and this is going to be in Paris, April 10th to 11th. And so that's a chance to really meet all like the cool like Sui builders and the companies that we're working with, our partners, and also just people in the community. So I think like this is, if you really want to learn about Sui, get involved with the community, this is like the best event to go to. And so I'm super excited for this event, and I think like everyone is in the Sui ecosystem is going to be there, and so this is the event to go to for Sui.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I'm actually really strongly thinking about going myself. That's how into Sui I am these days. And Paris is, that's not a bad place to go. Well, David, thank you so much for your time. It's really been great chatting. I hope we get to do it again down the line. Sui, we're going to be talking about Sui a lot on Cryptowise, so it's really great to get your knowledge and inside information on it. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, thanks for having me.